Imagine a world where every royal heir rushes toward the throne with ambition, calculation, and eagerness. Now pause, because in the heart of Spain, a young royal is rewriting that story. She is not rushing. She is not demanding. She is waiting, waiting with a kind of quiet grace the world has almost forgotten. Princess Leonor, the heir to the Spanish throne, has chosen patience over power, dignity over haste. And in that choice, she has stunned an entire nation. Why would a future queen, born into a world of expectation, choose to embrace waiting, when history tells us that heirs so often long for their moment? The answer lies not only in who she is, but in what she represents. From the moment Leonor of Bourbon y Ortiz was born in October 2005, the weight of destiny rested on her small shoulders. The daughter of King Felipe VI and Queen Letizia, she entered a Spain still finding its balance after decades of political and cultural change. Unlike most children, her earliest steps, her first words, and her every gesture were captured under the lens of a watchful world. And yet, rather than crumble, Leonor grew. She grew not in arrogance, but in humility, her eyes often lowered in respect, her smile warm but measured, her presence regal without ever being boastful. The world began to notice. Here was a princess not defined by glittering tiaras or luxurious gowns, but by a certain poise, an ability to be present, yet restrained. Every time she appeared in public, Spaniards saw not a child hungry for recognition, but a young woman quietly preparing for something greater. And that quiet preparation became her power. Consider her teenage years. While others her age were exploring rebellion, Leonor was navigating duty. When she gave her first public speech at just 13, on the anniversary of Spain's constitution, her voice trembled slightly. But that tremor was not weakness. It was the sound of a girl stepping into a role that would demand everything from her. And instead of rushing, she embraced the slow, deliberate process of becoming. But here is where the story deepens. For behind the scenes, there were whispers. Could she handle the crown? Could Spain truly trust a young woman, still learning, still waiting, to eventually hold the throne? The monarchy itself has weathered storms, scandals, political pressures, and waves of doubt. And yet, through it all, Leonor has remained steady. Grace, after all, is not built in ease, it is tested in tension. Her decision to pursue her military training was one such test. In 2023, she entered the General Military Academy, walking the same paths her father once walked. The world watched as the future queen wore the uniform not of glamour, but of sacrifice. She rose early, endured the rigors of discipline, and lived not as a royal shielded by privilege, but as a cadet earning respect. Every salute she gave, every drill she completed, spoke to a truth few could deny. She was waiting, yes, but she was waiting with purpose. Now, as the years pass, Spain sees in her something rare. In an age of impatience, Leonor shows patience. In a culture that often glorifies spectacle, she values silence. And in a monarchy that has faced questions of relevance, she brings authenticity. The grace she carries is not accidental. It is intentional. It is shaped by a father who has endured the pressures of kingship, by a mother who has taught her the strength of discipline, and by a nation that both questions and hopes in equal measure. Yet, the question lingers, what does it mean for Spain's future that its queen in waiting has chosen to embody waiting itself? Does this patience reveal hesitance, or does it signal wisdom beyond her years? When she stands beside her parents at official events, her eyes speak volumes. They say, I am not in a hurry. The crown will come when it must. Until then, I will learn. Until then, I will serve. And so the world leans closer. Because this young royal, who waits with grace, may be preparing Spain not just for continuity, but for transformation. Her story reminds us that true leadership is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet. Sometimes it is still. Sometimes it is the patience to wait until the right moment arrives. Princess Leonor, the young royal who waits with grace, is not simply waiting for a throne. She is waiting for the world to see that her strength is not in claiming power early, but in becoming worthy of it fully. And when that moment arrives, Spain, and indeed, the world, will not just have a queen. They will have a leader shaped by patience, tempered by duty, and defined by grace.